Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Thank you. We are so pleased that you are here to celebrate the investiture of Vincent G. Boudreau as the 13th President of the City College of New York. Yeah, definitely. I'm Rob Barron. I'm the chair of the Department of Theater and Speech, and it is my great pleasure to serve as today's Master of Ceremony. Now, for those of you who didn't run to your dictionary, an investiture is defined as the formal ceremony of conferring the authority and symbols of high office. It is an academic ceremony which has symbolized the pursuit of knowledge since the Middle Ages. Today, universities around the world view investitures as opportunities to welcome a new era and celebrate as a community. So we're grateful for your participation today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to welcome the university directors and deans who are entering the Great Hall. The directors and deans are followed by presidents of the City University of New York, Dr. Jose Luis Cruz of Lehman College, Dr. David Gomez of Hostos Community College, and Dr. Thomas A. Sekunevi of Bronx Community College. Now entering are the members of the President's Cabinet of City College. These members include the deans, the vice presidents, and the directors of the college. All right, now entering the Great Hall are the members of the Platform Party. The City College of New York's Executive Vice Chair of the Graduate Student Council, Cyril Jiking, and the Executive Vice President of the Undergraduate Student Government, Taimur Arif, are leading in the President of the Alumni Association, the City University of New York's Vice Chancellors, and members of the university's Board of Trustees. We are also honored to have the President of the Faculty Senate, David Gerusalmi, leading the Chancellor of the City University of New York, James B. Milliken. Following him is Adriano Espaillat, Congressman from the 13th District of New York City. Next in our procession are two of our favorite alumni, retired General Colin L. Powell from the class of 1958, and the acting president of the Higher Education Services Corporation, Guillermo Linares, class of 1975, who brings greetings on behalf of New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. We're also honored to have the City College Interim Provost, Tony Liss, leading in the chair of the Foundation for City College, Martin Cohen, followed by another distinguished alumnus, Brad Walrond from the class of 2006. I also would like to welcome from the Board of Trustees, Barry F. Schwartz, Vice Chairperson of the CUNY Board of Trustees. Well, as you can see, we've come to the end of the procession, as we welcome Chief Marshal Janet Steele, who has carried in the City College mace and who has led in President Vince Boudreau.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to commence the investiture ceremony of the City College of New York's 13th president. Please welcome Ms. Annika Lüdke, who will sing the national anthem. Ms. Lüdke graduated last year from City College with a master's degree in international relations from the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership. All please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. It is our honor to welcome James B. Milliken, Chancellor of the City University of New York, who will bring greetings on behalf of the university. Chancellor Milliken.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I've been looking forward to this day for some time. Thank you for joining us at a special celebration that carries great meaning for this university and for our city. The investiture of Vince Boudreau as the 13th president of City College of New York is not only a great day for one of our country's most storied institutions of higher education, it's a wonderful affirmation that the extraordinary democratic experiment that started 170 years ago, offering a high-quality educational institution open to anyone with the will, the talent, and the desire to fulfill their dreams, no matter their background. It's as robust and vital as ever. Today, with a new president, that experiment is recharged and reinvigorated yet again. If anything, it's more important today than it's ever been. City College traces its lineage to that original school, the Free Academy. And with each generation, it has added to its remarkable legacy by producing the ideas and the leaders who've helped make our nation a global leader in an array of fields. City College has produced 10 Nobel Prize winners, as well as people whose careers and achievements had a deep impact on our country. From Oscar Huelos to Bernard Baruch. There was Andy Grove, an immigrant and the founder of one of the greatest chip makers, Intel, and with us today, the former General, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Secretary of State, Colin Powell, born a few blocks from here in Harlem. City College was much more than an interesting experiment, though. It was founded on a far-sighted gamble. But it was a gamble all the same, that investing in the education of students from lower income and underrepresented groups and immigrants would pay off. I'm proud to be here today to tell you that it has proven over and over again to be one of the wisest bets and soundest investments that our city and state has ever made. President Boudreau has distinguished himself for more than 2 decades with his dedication to that vision. His leadership ensures that City College will continue to deliver on that vital promise. Today we acknowledge the commitment, the passion, the foresight, and the innovative spirit that Vince Boudreau brings to City College and to its outstanding students, a guarantee that we will have many more occasions to celebrate the triumph of our democratic values and the remarkable achievements of the City College of New York well into the future. So today I say congratulations to President Boudreau and congratulations to the City College of New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. And now Mr. Brad Walrond, City College alumnus, class of 2006, will bring greetings. Mr. Walrond.
World had not used us well, laid us askance, stroked our jewels, took them for granted, left us thirsty, begging for something like God, for any moment that could give a life its meaning. Poverty ain't never been about money. Can't be the repose we suppose. Can't afford the time spent and not saved. Spent and not saved. Surgeons left note for our next of kin and advised, if we polish too quick, too careless, brilliance is fleeting. Oblige these teachers offered to train us off the beaten track, prune our overcast thoughts into vision. Ignorance ain't never felt nothing like bliss, and rolled us off the street half dead, near blind from living. Working class studies in still art sat stone cold as survival by anesthetic. Opioids pop like multivitamins, past lives pack into a stupor. Our futures had slipped into neutral's noose and fell madly in love with forgetting. These operations then perform best cold turkey. Recovery will require a victim's memory. Thinking is torture, aims to extract that which is useful. Note, said these physicians expert in addiction and trauma, syllabi make manifest the tools to treat it, but this West Side city clinic smelled of nothing but pages and pages. Papyrus, I know now, mere fodder for the fire. What if some perish from the smoke? Embers, at the risk of too much pressure, might just rain down diamonds. Doctors' deep tissue massage pressed down hard is third-degree burns in hot pursuit of bone, something at last to hold onto, yes, just enough friction might could make the wildest dreams as palpable and magnificent as bonfire. Ideas have always been accelerants, handled with care. A master teacher's friction set them ablaze. Nursed only the hungriest back to health. Left no mark on those of us thought themselves too full, too fortunate. When we caught fire, we were as necessary and unremarkable as tinder. That's why we won't never forget. Can't never forget. They caught us a spark. God damn, and we took it in like a breath. Survived it like a breath. Singed, salted, and thirsty for another.
The Senior Advisor to the President and Interim Executive Director for the Combined Foundations for City College, Ms. Dee Mozeleski, will now bring greetings. Ms. Mozeleski.
Hi, everyone. I normally don't do this, and by this I mean speak at large gatherings in the Great Hall. Normally I'd be over there by the piano, I'd be making sure things run smoothly, but when my boss asks me to do something, I say no a few times and then he insists that I do it. I met Vince in July of 2012. He was starting a search for a new fundraiser to work with him at the Colin Powell Center and to help him build what would become, in collaboration with the Division of Social Sciences, the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership. I remember everything about our first meeting. He set aside traditional interview formats and he wanted to just talk. He wanted to hear about what I'd been doing, and he wanted to hear what I thought of higher education. What I wanted to hear was about City College and why he loved it so much. Because even from that first interaction, it was clear that his love for this place had no limits. A month later, after meeting with General Powell, Vince met me at a small cafe in Virginia and asked if I wanted the job. What he didn't tell me, and what he probably didn't know, was that it wasn't just a job we were taking on, it was the great job. It was the great job of building a school. I stand here today remembering that I then thought, May 2nd, 2013, the founding of the Colin Powell School was the best day I would ever have here, and I was wrong. Lots of people will tell you things about Vince. For those of you who have worked here for 26 years or more, you'll have almost 3 decades of stories to share. And for those of you in the audience who have been his students, you will have memories of him in the classroom, as an advisor, as a mentor, or you'll have known him as the dean of the Colin Powell School. Some of you may remember that you've often said to me you consider Vince your dean even as you graduated from other schools on campus, but I promise I won't name names. I'll tell you that the Vince I know has chosen to support the success of our students on this campus over almost anything else. He will tell you that he loves this place. He will remind us that he's never leaving City College, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about why. I didn't understand his love for City as clearly as I did one afternoon before he was dean. We were walking out of the NAC as students outside were protesting a decision they didn't understand. I started to ask him, as a member of the faculty, if he was allowed to be with them. But before I finished my sentence, he was already moving away from me. He turned around and said, "Don't wait for me, I need to be here with them." He wanted to be where he thought he'd be the most useful, which was answering the students' questions, their whys. Nothing has changed. I assume he's always been this person, and I know he's always been this person for our campus. During the search process for our new president, I asked the question, what did we think we deserved in a president? I thought we deserved someone who would ask us to not just be ambassadors for the college. I thought our new president should demand that we become its warriors. I thought we deserved someone who would remind us that when society asks who belongs, we would insist that we do. I also thought we deserved someone who would ask us to look carefully at what we do each day and then ask if there's a better way to do it. And more importantly, I thought we deserved someone who would be right there beside us as we did it, building upon 170 years of the college's history. I'm sure many people will tell you what they think it means to be president of a college. I will tell you that I'm grateful we have one who believes that this is the biggest job he will ever have at the greatest institution in the world. It's possible you don't know this, so I'll let you in on a secret. Each year at the end of May, my boss says to me, "We'll never work again this hard." He's lying. Each year it gets harder, but I think it's supposed to. Vince will never allow himself to become complacent about this campus. He will ask that we do the same. I think it's why I'm most thankful he's our college's president. I'm so grateful to be part of this college at this moment in time. So to our faculty, I say, I'm honored to work with you, and I'm honored to see the impact you have on the campus and the world. And to our staff, you're my friends, you're my peers, you're my colleagues. It's an honor to steward the legacy of this space. And to our students, you're all the reason we come here each day. To Vince, it's a tremendous honor to work for you. It's a tremendous honor to work beside you and to congratulate you on this very important day. So on behalf of the combined foundations for the college, we look forward to working with you, and we look forward to stewarding the college's future. Thank you.
And now, retired General Colin L. Powell, who is a City College graduate, class of 1958, will bring greetings. General Powell.
I love this place. I love this hall. I love the building in which it is located. I love the campus as it is now. I love the campus as it was when I first walked on campus some 64 years ago. But it is not the facilities that really make this a special place. It's the spirit that moves through the campus. It's the spirit of Townsend Harris, and Dr. Webster and Dr. Webb and all the others who have come before who have made this such a remarkable place. My favorite place on campus when I come on campus is across the street on the little low wall that you will see. And I sit on that wall when I'm up here and wait for people to come by and stop and talk, students and teachers and the maintenance people and the gardeners and everybody else who takes care of this wonderful place. I'm having trouble with students lately, though, however. Increasingly, they walk by me without even noticing me because they're wearing $400 earphones and they're texting. So I simply say, "Hey, you, get over here." It's good to be a general. They always turn around and come over. And they tell me their stories, and they tell me what they're doing, and they tell me the most remarkable things. Group of engineering students who have married up what they've learned in engineering at the Grove School with actually working on a bridge in New Jersey and criticizing or commenting on the engineers who were designing that bridge and are working on that bridge. I'll come up here and sit there, and 4 students will come by, and one was from Egypt, one's from Russia, another one was from Lebanon, another one from Iran. Who else do you want me to mention? But this place, I really mean I love because it has meant so much to me. Not just City College of New York, but the whole public school system of the New York City. PS 20. PS 20, PS 39, junior high school, 52, and then Morris High School. I couldn't get into, that's a new one. I tried to get into Stuyvesant and the Bronx High School of Science, but the guidance counselor in junior high school said, "No, don't even think about it, you won't make it." And somehow I got into CCNY. My grades didn't qualify me for it, but somebody took a chance. And I came here. And in the first few months, I'm sure that person thought, "No, that was not a chance well taken." But then I found ROTC, and I found something that I did well and I loved doing. And in ROTC, I found another family in the Pershing Rifles, the fraternity in ROTC. And I learned structure. I learned how to apply myself. The military did not stand for C averages. It had to be A. And so they squared me away. They straightened me out. And at the age of 21, in 1958, I was able to graduate from this place, get my commission, go into the United States Army. Without that public school education, I don't know what would have happened. As I rose in the ranks through the Army, people would ask me, especially when I became a general. And when I became a 4-star general, the questions became more intense. When did you graduate from West Point? Didn't go to West Point. Did you go to the Virginia Military Institute or the Citadel in South Carolina? I said, nope, they wouldn't let a black guy in then, and they're stunned. So where'd you go? City College, New York. City College, New York. What's that about? It says it's a free academy. I got an education from PS20 through the City College of New York that prepared me for what the Army was going to ask of me. And for 35 years in the Army and then 4 years as Secretary of State. How much did it cost you? I said, I just told you, it's a free academy. And it cost my parents nothing, not a nickel, for all those years. And the question usually comes back, well, how is that affordable? It says the citizens of the city of New York and the state of New York know that they have nothing more important to do or invest in than the future of the city and the state, and that comes through education. And one of the other familiar questions I always would get is, when you were a kid growing up, did you dream you could become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Armed Forces of the United States? And I smiled and said, yeah, there I was. I believe I was about 10 years old. I was standing on the corner of 163rd Street and Kelly Street in the Bronx. I said to myself, so if you're going to grow up and become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Armed Forces of the United States. It was unthinkable, it was unachievable. Can't be done. We still had segregation, we still had Jim Crow, public school education, it can't be done. But the answer is it can be done. Could be done, and it was done in my case. Why? Because of the education system of New York, and especially because of the City College of New York. Without you, I never would have made it. Without this place that I adore, this place that I love, wouldn't have made it. When I left the State Department in 2005, looking around for things to do, and I knew that a small center had been created up here by the Rudin family in my name, Colin Powell Center for Policy Studies, something like that. I wasn't sure what had been going on. It's been about 4 or 5 years old then, and I know that Vince Boudreau was heading it, so I decided to go up and take a look, see what it would do to me. And I sat in the president's conference room with about 12 students from that center, Powell Fellows. And I looked at these wonderful young people. Every hue, every color was represented. The languages had accents as they went around the room. Every story they told me was moving. They were the first ones in their families to go to college. And they were proud of it, and they knew they were changing the history of their family by going to college. And when they went around the room and each one told me their story, it came back to me, and the only emotion, the only thing I could think of was, my God, these are me 50 years ago. I came up the same path, that immigrant path, that path of low income, but a path that was set me on by parents who cared about me. Parents who made it clear that we came to this country for a new life, for economy, and to raise children. And we have every expectation of you to go to school and get some kind of education. Be a bus driver, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is, but get an education and meet our expectations. And I did that, as did all of my cousins. But after I saw these 12 wonderful people in that room that day, I said to myself, I've got to get involved more deeply with this. And I did. And it was on that day that Vince Boudreau and I formed a partnership that said, let's expand, let's see what else we need to do just besides giving them an education. And Vince and I had a vision that it should include teaching young students in the class what it means to serve others. So let's get the word service into our title. And then over time, it developed even more, service and leadership. And so we started to persuade members of the faculty, as you teach them, give them something in that discipline that they can take down to Harlem or somewhere else in the city or somewhere else in the world or the country and apply it, and then use it as part of their grade, use it as part of their education. Time passed and this took off. Under Vince's leadership, it became more and more important to the whole college. Under his leadership, we reached out to other colleges and a consortium was formed that would let all of the colleges talk to each other. And I'm so proud of how the faculty responded to that. It was something that Vince and I came up with. It was our vision, but a vision is nothing unless it's executed well. And that's what this gentleman, who is now the president of this college, did so well. He executed well. He knew how to get things done. He had the right kind of personality to reach out to people, to convince them that this was the right way to have an educational process be successful. He did all of those things. And then about 5.5 years ago, it was noted that this was going so well that perhaps it should be expanded. It was a vision that Vince had, and he gave it to President Coico, and she bought it. We took it to the board, and they approved the creation of the Colin Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership, almost 25% of the student body. I talk about it everywhere I go, and I talk about my students here. I'm sometimes criticized for the words I use, but I call them my Ellis Island kids. These are my Ellis Island kids. These are my immigrant kids. These are my favorite people on earth. Young people who are minorities, 90% minorities, 80% say they were born in another country. If that's not the soul of America, I don't know what is. So many people worked on this project as we brought it to fruition, and we had our first graduation, which is a very moving moment for all of us who worked on it. I want to thank Vince again for all the years that we have been working together, for all he has done. I hated to lose him as the dean, but in the military, you know, you've got to let good people move up. And I know he will do for City College what he did for the Powell School. And I want to thank Dee Mozeleski for the amazing work she has performed working for my dear friend Vince, and also my assistant, Peggy Sofrino, who has worked closely with Dee and with Vince over these years. And so, my friends, this is a marvelous day. This is a day to remember again what the history of this college is. The Free Academy of New York, open to all. Let the children of the rich sit with the children of the poor, and the only measure will be their quality and how they take care of one another. And I can think of no one better able, in my judgment, in my experience, to take on the responsibilities of president of the City College of New York than the man who is now president and is now about to be invested, President Vince Boudreau. Thank you.
Thank you, General Powell. And now, United States Representative for New York's 13th Congressional District, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, who is a Queens College alumnus, class of 1978, will bring greetings. Congressman Espaillat.
Good evening, everybody. I bring you greetings from the 13th Congressional District, a very diverse district that captures the energy of people from all over the world. It includes East Harlem with its historic story about how Latinos, Puerto Ricans got here to New York City. It includes the iconic Harlem story, which is and continues to be the center of the African diaspora across the world. It includes immigrant Washington Heights, Hamilton Heights, and Inwood, with the George Washington Bridge, the gateway to New York City. The West Side, with its liberal and progressive mind frame. And of course, not too far away, working class Bronx. This is a great neighborhood, and this institution is the Harvard, the Yale of working class New York. And so this is a wonderful evening because we have the ascendancy here tonight of someone that has worked for 26 years in the City University of New York and now will take the helm here at City College. And he has a PhD in political science. I studied political science when I went to Queens College. I remember my dad, a working class guy, hard-nosed working class, old school guy from the Dominican Republic telling me, "So what is it you're studying, young man?" I said, "I'm studying political science." And he looked me up and down and he says, "So you're studying to become a communist, huh? How is it that you're going to support your family?" I said, "Dad, it's a science." He wouldn't have it. He will introduce me to his friends and say, "This is my son Adriano, who I want to be a lawyer, but he has chosen to study to be a communist." But of course, when I got elected to the State Assembly back in 1996, he went out and got a brand new suit to sit right next to me when I got sworn in. And I could only think, what would he have felt? What my grandparents were factory workers that came here, kept their head down, probably never went to a fancy restaurant or saw a Broadway play, what they would have felt when I ascended to the U.S. Congress. I say this story to you because this particular school, and CUNY in general, is a factory of dreams for people that come from all over the world. And now we have a new shop steward, someone that will organize that dream and put it into execution, make it work. And he has been here for a long time. He has skin in the game. He has a vested interest to ensure that this institution that builds dreams for many people and is part and parcel of the future of America, that this institution is successful and continues to be successful. And all of you in the front, all of you college professors and presidents that are there from CUNY, you are part of that factory. My grandmother worked in the garment district. My grandfather worked in the Ray-Ban factories. We were the only kids in the neighborhood that had those flip-down baseball glasses, my brother and I. We were the envy of the neighborhood. But you guys are running this shop now, and you must continue to keep the torch lit and the hope alive for all those young people that, as the generals say, may have an accent, but they're full of dreams and aspiration. They have so much to offer. You know, I look at the dreamers. They come and meet with me in Washington. When I look at their faces, their young faces, I can't say no to them. There's nothing I would not do. I voted down budgets that had great things for the district because they did not include the DREAM Act. They have been unafraid. They have come forward, found their voice, and in the process, lifted our voice for them. And so this is very much a part and a mission of what this university is about. And I know that your new leader, the new shop steward in this factory of dreams, Dr. Boudreau, is going to do an excellent job. And he has, as the congressman of this district, my full support to continue to work with him to ensure that City College continues to be an avenue of hope and aspiration for working class America. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman. And now the Vice Chairperson of the City University Board of Trustees, Barry F. Schwartz, will bring greetings. Vice Chairperson Schwartz.
Thank you, Chief Marshal Steele. Thank you, Chancellor Milliken. Thank you, and it thrills me to say, President Boudreau. Thank you, General Powell, and thank you, Congressman Espaillat. Members of the Platform Party, distinguished and honored guests, as you heard, my name is Barry Schwartz, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees of CUNY. And I bring you greetings on behalf of my colleagues, 6 others of whom are here today on the platform. And I welcome you to this most important occasion in your historic hall. This 110-year-old space is both symbol and site of many turning points and inspiring moments in the history of City College, and I might add, of CUNY. It is a hall of great distinction, of academic achievement, and as it is today, a hall of celebration. Of course, this is the place where we gather for the investiture of Vince Boudreau as the 13th president of the City College of New York. I am honored to have come to know Dr. Boudreau this past year, and I'm equally honored to be on this podium today to conduct his investiture as president of City College. Vince Boudreau has been part of the City College community for more than 25 years. As interim president, and before that as inaugural dean of the Colin Powell School, as an administrator, scholar, teacher, and constant champion of the college, Dr. Boudreau has exemplified the leadership and dedication needed by City College to chart its course ahead. The City College Dr. Boudreau leads, and the City College Dr. Boudreau envisions, is one that will continue, and it has begun its mission in 1847, to continue that historic mission of access, inclusion, and excellence. Vince Boudreau has done much to shape the goals and quality of today's City College. This legendary and iconic institution, which year after year nurtures brilliant, ambitious New Yorkers who graduate well prepared to make their mark as leaders, as scholars, as engaged citizens of this great city, this great state, this great nation. Vince Boudreau is poised to do more. And Dr. Boudreau, on behalf of the board and with great admiration for your City College community, we wish you great success in the many years ahead. Thank you.
And now, an alumnus of the class of 1975, Guillermo Linares, acting president of the Higher Education Services Corporation, brings greetings on behalf of Governor Cuomo. President Linares.
It is indeed an honor for me to be here once again as a graduate of 1975, representing Governor Cuomo, who last year asked me to join his cabinet in this capacity as president of the Higher Education Services Corporation, which connects me directly with all of the higher education institutions across the state, including this wonderful institution that I carry in my heart. Sitting next to the general, I realized before coming here how much in common there is with him and I, and so many waves of immigrants that have come seeking what we all aspire to give the opportunity for our children to prepare themselves as leaders. And I recall that it was here when I attended City College that helped shape me what I was to do as the oldest of 9 children, coming from the north coast of the Dominican Republic, a small town, having been raised in a farm, and trying to put in perspective what was to be for me. And it was there that I had the opportunity to meet the president of City College at the time, when I was involved with the Dominican Student Association. And the request was one very simple. Can you establish the first Dominican Story course to take place here with so many Dominicans coming in to this college? And of course, the answer was yes. And it was here that I decided that I would go into the community after being a student activist to be an educator, a bilingual educator, and to be an activist and serve the community. Little did I know that in Washington Heights, as the Congressman mentioned, was the ground zero for the wave of immigrants coming here. So I was involved with parents, organizing parents and the community. And that process of involvement led for the community to ask me to run for office. And in 1991, I became the first Dominican elected in the United States of America. And the connection with, yes? The first accomplishment as a member of the New York City Council was going to sit with the Chancellor in 1992, Chancellor Reynolds, I remember, and asking her if she would establish an institute that would address the needs and the potential of Dominicans across CUNY. And of course, City College was the place where we would establish back then the Dominican Studies Institute, which is now part of the Colin Powell Institute, which is yet another connection. And since I landed in the Bronx, fresh out of the Dominican Republic, and then moved to Jamaica, Queens, those were 2 places where our general also wandered. So today, I am here on behalf of the governor and as a proud alumni to say that the legacy of these institutions, as expressed by the general and others that have spoken, rings high, particularly now when we need to really prepare the leadership that we desperately need in our communities, in the city, state, this country, and for the rest of humanity, I would say. I am also very proud because part of what we do in our journey of activism and service is to hold a torch that so many others held before us so that we could have opportunity to be successful. And that torch is really what is embraced with the celebration that we have today. The torch that I'm talking about is being held now in transition from me to someone who sits here in the platform, my daughter Myra Linares Garcia, who is now a member of the CUNY Board here at the City University. And I would say to you, President Boudreau, know full well that you not only have those of us who are alumnus of this wonderful institution, but you also have the backing of people in very high places, because we cannot afford not to have you succeed to continue the legacy that this institution and the City University represents for future generations to come. And we need that now more than ever. All the best to you.
The investiture of Vince G. Boudreau as the 13th President of the City College of New York will be conducted by Barry F. Schwartz, Vice Chairperson of the City University of New York Board of Trustees. Vice Chairperson Schwartz.
And now, Chancellor Milliken and President Boudreau, I invite you to come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 13th President of City College, Vince Boudreau.
I'm overwhelmed to see so many friends, colleagues, people from CUNY, members of the Board of Trustees, President Linares, Congressman Espaillat, Chancellor, David Gerald-Salmi, the President of the Faculty Senate, General Powell, my good friend and partner, faculty that I've worked with, students that I've taught, students I hope someday to teach, my big, beautiful family. Thank you all. When you become the president of a college, they make a special robe for you, and I'm wearing mine. It has my new lucky number up here. Congressman, our lucky number. Yeah. It's made in City College lavender. And it's the first time in 26 years that I will wear any academic robe other than the one my father wore in his years at Lemoyne College. I graduated from Lemoyne, and in the very first class I ever walked into, very first day of school, I walked into an assigned freshman composition class, and my father was my professor. There were 12 of us. It was a small seminar room. And he taught the class, mispronounced my name. And then on his way out the door, he leaned over and said to me in a voice that everyone could hear, "Stop by my office later, your mother sent you some cookies." And he closed the door and let me and my new classmates sort out the news of my relationship with our professor. And I have to say, it was the only time in our years together at college that I had an awkward moment with my father. I was privileged at a time in my life when many people are moving away from their families to find myself drawn more deeply into the world of my father. I learned what a careful teacher he was, how deeply he thought and read. I learned how exceptionally He cared about the lives of his students. I learned from his colleagues, some of whom were my teachers, some of whom I think are here today, how important it is to cultivate the respect and trust of your colleagues as my father had the respect and trust of his. And I say this to you today, I tell you this story, because the robes that I'm wearing now are the only robes I would think to put on in preference to the robes that he gave me. I'm so grateful to be here as your president. I'm so cognizant of the responsibility with which I'm here today vested. I'm so careful of the legacy of this place and hopeful for the stewardship of this mission. When this building was established in 1907, Mark Twain stood where I'm standing right now, and he said to his audience that America needed a degree in citizenship, and he thought that the best place for that degree to be offered was what he called the College of the City of New York, where even then people were coming from around the world to this place to learn and to become Americans. When Albert Einstein first came to the United States, when he first talked to a public audience on this side of the Atlantic about his theory of relativity, he did it in this room before us. And when Colin Powell returned to his alma mater as the first African-American Secretary of State in the history of the United States, he stood where I'm standing right now and delivered his address. I think a great deal about this room in relationship to the responsibility that I've been given here at the college. The Great Hall is the sacred center of City College, and whenever I have the opportunity to introduce people to the iconography of this room, I seize on that chance. For years now, I've been bringing students into this room and asking them to tell me what they thought the history of this place would be, and they inevitably tell me what they think it used to be. They say, for instance, it used to be a convent because we're on Convent Avenue, or it used to be a church, or it used to be some other grand building built for grand people, people who weren't like them. And whatever I say in response to what they've said to me, I make sure that they leave the conversation understanding how wrong they were. The people who founded City College and later the people who built this great hall dreamed that it would be filled as it is filled today with people who look like the world. They built it for people who are new to this country or for people who, for other reasons, come into life with no expectation for their future except what they could make of it themselves. And like the students of today, for generation after generation, they came to the College of the City of New York to remake their future, to rewrite the history of their families, and to prepare themselves to build this city and to build this nation. So this building was designed on the framework of a neo-Gothic cathedral, and that was a gesture to signify the gravity and importance of the work that we would do here. The rock that the building is made up is New York schist, and it was quarried from the very ground that we're standing on right now. And if you look along the sides, along the vault of this room, these stained glass windows were all donated by the established colleges that were extant at the day in an explicit gesture welcoming City College and its audacious educational mission. The rafters were originally hung with flags donated by the great universities of the world, both the New World and the Old, again in a gesture of welcome to City College. And if you look up in the wooden rosettes, you can still see the remnants of the paintings of those flags, and we're in the process of reproducing them, and we'll someday hang them again. Behind me is our treasure. This is a fresco original to the room called The Graduate, and if you look at this fresco, what you see is this: a young man receiving his diploma in front of a collection of his peers, and those peers include people with hammers and in overalls, members of the working class and wealthy young people, people from the tradesmen and the crafts. And when this college was founded, it was inconceivable that a group like that would be a graduating class in an institution of higher education. But here we are. And he's receiving his degree under the watchful eyes of representations, at least representations in 1907 of the highest order of human achievement. You'll see Shakespeare there, and Sir Francis Bacon, and Plato and Aristotle. the people who designed this room and the people who decorated it inscribed our mission into the very architecture that surrounds us. They imagined a college with its arms flung wide, embracing everybody, strengthening our society with every soul that crosses the graduation stage. And they approached the task with reverence and with optimism and an abiding sense that by building City College, they were renewing the spirit of America. And so if the Great Hall is the sacred center of CCNY, I've always thought of CCNY as the sacred center of New York City. So where do we now stand in light of this founding vision? We stand first at a moment when we can clearly see the misshapen fruits of a societal retreat from the ideals of public higher education as a collective good that is vitally important to the fabric of our democracy. Where once we accepted that the whole people would benefit when the whole people were educated, where once we were unambiguous in our willingness to define an educated society as a collective strength, we are now too often called to think about public education in terms of a discrete benefit for individuals who have acquired or will acquire a degree in a place like City College. But when a society refuses to see how everyone benefits when everyone has a path to education, it begins to ask why this student or why that student is deserving of special support, or why any of us should agree to allocate resources to some unnamed other. And when a nation begins to ask such questions, particularly of its collective goods and its united strengths, it begins to enter a dark season. We become smaller. We become more isolated. We become weaker as a people. For no democracy has ever survived without a robust mechanism for educating the whole people. When educational opportunities grow more constricted, or when educational institutions grow weaker, a hollow space opens up in the fabric of our public lives. And out of that void come all manner of ugly things: intolerance, superstition, closed-mindedness. The void exudes a climate that is rife with violence. It encourages disaffection and societal rifts and governments that lean towards repression. And we have, as a nation, moved in fits and starts away from repression and towards a deeper understanding of one another, not always in every place or for everyone or at every time, but steadily in ways that at least bend, as the saying goes, towards justice. But the road has never been untroubled, and we are now working our way through a particularly difficult patch, marked in places by what seems to be the willful embrace of what is meanest and least generous in our nature. Now, I say this now in connection to our City College because it puts us, every one of us, on the front lines of a struggle for the future and the soul of our nation. What we do every day at City College and in places like City College is this: we set ourselves against the proposition that the American dream is small, or that it is restricted, or that it is ungenerous. We defy the idea that where you come from, or how you got here, or what you look like, or where you pray, or who you love has any bearing on your place in our society. We reject the idea that the circumstances of your birth define the pathways of your life. We work in the understanding that we do not now live in the world we were meant to inhabit. We build it every day, and we defend what we build when we must, and I promise you, on this campus, we will make that defense. And here, of all places, in this great hall, we are reminded that we must undertake this work generation by generation, in who we teach and what knowledge we share, in the opportunities we make possible, and the encouragement we give those who seek a better future. These are our values. This is our mission. And in their pursuit, we have, each one of us the opportunity to be extraordinary, the chance to be beautiful, a chance to make this institution what it always has been and what it will be. So here's my vision for City College. We are, as many of you know, virtually unrivaled in this country in promoting social mobility among our students. We are the second most successful college in this respect in the entire nation, second only to our sister school, Baruch, and part of a university system that is leading the nation in this regard. We must rededicate ourselves to the idea of social mobility, and in that rededication, we must broaden our understanding of what it means on this campus. We live in a time when social mobility, the great engine that drove our public life in the middle centuries, in the middle decades of last century, has dwindled down to what Joseph Stiglitz now defines as a statistical anomaly, and we cannot allow this condition to persist. We are an institution that is filled with writers and researchers, professors who in their different departments, in their different fields of endeavors are identifying and attacking the barriers to social mobility. In my years on this campus, I've come to know you well, my good colleagues, and this is what I've learned. You're not working in Harlem merely because your campus happens to be here. You've been drawn with your particular commitments to justice and equity to this special spot, to undertake very specific kinds of work, and it is that work in this place that keeps you close. And so I say to you now, even if you're hearing it for the first time, together we are an institution dedicated to an all-out assault on the barriers to social mobility, and it's time we started saying that. To the staff of this college, so often the first to seize trouble in a student's eyes, or the first to prepare this campus in the dark hours before the rest of us arrive, the planners and the implementers of our finest aspirations, you are vital to this mission too. We must vow here to make this a place that both prepares our students and demonstrates what we think their role should be in society, and sets a standard for the world outside these walls, showing in no uncertain terms the necessity and the beauty of executing on our charge. My good colleagues, this is what we stand for. This is how we must be known, and in claiming this identity, let us now shake off the vestiges of our recent difficulties and be renewed and reborn. To my friends outside this campus, I ask you, we must stand together. I've had the rare opportunity in these last months to speak with civic and political leaders in Harlem, northern Manhattan, the South Bronx, all across New York. And many of those people are here today, both on the podium and in the audience. So I have this to say to you. If we are the campus that I describe, if we are a public institution, not just in the source of our funding, but in the content of our commitments, if the issues most vital to the underserved and vulnerable populations of our city, populations that you represent and that you serve and that you advocate for, if these issues can cluster, as I think they do, around conceptions of social mobility, around those things that undercut the capacity of an individual to live a secure and full life, to make a life for themselves, if these are the issues that matter to you, then we are a united people. I ask you to stand with this campus, and I promise you that we will stand with you. Where we have seemed maybe closed, we will be open. And where we have seen perhaps to talk to ourselves, we will speak with you to the world. Together, we can do remarkable things, and I'm so very optimistic of our future. Let us stand together. To the sons and daughters of City College gather here, those who have walked this path and returned to their college, or perhaps those who see some reason despite having no early affiliation with this college, to donate their attention and their time and their advocacy and their treasure to this institution, I say this: I need you. I need your support and your enthusiasm and your commitment and your advocacy. This mission of ours, the tasks that I have set for this college and for my presidency, it's the right mission for these times. It's the right mission for our history and for our geography and for our place among the great institutions in the greatest city in the world. So I ask you, join me, help me advocate for this institution, fight for it, and fight for everything that it represents. And finally, to my students, I wish for you to understand something important. We meet you and we work with you as individuals. We help you individually map out a future for yourself and plan a path to success. And we can't let the unique promise that each one of you represents fall by the wayside. But I also want you to know that I think of you as a class, leaving this campus each spring in waves, setting out in groups to make your impact on the world, provisioned by the knowledge that this institution provides you. We've always been a place that sends new Americans out into the world, or Americans who are new to a rising sense of their potential place in our society. Last week, I met the great-great-great-granddaughter of William Hallett Green, the first African American to graduate from City College, class of 1884. Today, we more often send young people into the world for whom education is the glue binding them to a new country, and we hope providing them a more secure place in a country in which they have often not felt secure. And in establishing their position, they are making a place for others. You students are making a place for others. And so I say to you, social mobility is your mission too, not just as it will be reflected in your lives, but in what you will stand for, and I hope how you will advocate a better place in this world for generations to come. And on top of that, I ask you never to forget that this place, this great hall, this storied institution was made in the first instance and is remade every year for you, exactly and precisely for the people you are today. I'm as proud as can be to serve as the 13th president of this great institution. I accept the charge and the responsibility given to me today with a glad heart and a full measure of its weight, and a cup that is brimming with optimism for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, President Boudreau. Will everyone please stand and remain standing as the platform party leaves the auditorium.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you join us in the back of the Great Hall for a celebration?